For a while, the smartphone market has just been really boring. Same thing gets re-released, small updates on everything, but right now, there's one segment that's really catching fire that we need to talk about. So you've seen the title, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I am talking about the $300 to $400 to $450 price bracket, and that is heating up like crazy, not just in the US, but around the world. And right now, more than ever, the Pixel 4a is proving that this market is not dead. It is in fact on fire. Alongside that, I think it goes to show a very important point that the expensive phone market isn't as hot as everybody would expect, right? The expensive $1,000+ flagships, people might be buying them, but they're not really becoming, people aren't buying them by the millions, but they're not like turning numbers as some of these older phones used to when they were priced lower. And I think companies are starting to take note of that, and that is why we're getting these brand new devices all at a $300 to $500 price range that you'd never imagine companies to make, right? Like Apple, I think is the largest indicator here. If they have come out and made a $400 to $500 smartphone with the latest chipset, I think it goes to show that price right now is a very important factor in buying, and these smartphone companies are competing and they're in it to win it, and I love it. So, OnePlus just brought out their phone. The Apple brought out theirs a couple months ago. Now, the Pixel 4a just came out as well, and the 4a is, what makes this thing special? I think the number one thing is it undercuts both the iPhone and the OnePlus Nord in price. And it's actually available in the US and North America, unlike the OnePlus Nord right now. The OnePlus Nord is slated for a future release, but right now the current model as it sits will not come to the US. And, I think the reason this one is not coming is because the one that's going to come to the US is probably going to be a little bit more expensive than the current one. So you might actually see a $500 or maybe even, just a little bit more expensive phone than it is right now. That's why they didn't launch it in the US. It just didn't make sense for them financially. Now, mid-range phones are very interesting because the compromises that a company makes is so much clearer. So there's multiple aspects where you can cut corners very clearly, and the consumer will be able to tell. And each company is choosing their own, and I think it's so interesting to see what each company thinks is something that's important, because with flagships, they throw the best of everything at them. So you just see where they shine. You don't really ever see, things where they're going to cut corners on. But with these mid-range phones, you start to see corners getting cut, and it's actually very interesting. And they all line up with the entire company's ethos. So the cuts that are being made are very in line with a company's priorities, focus, and, as I said, their ethos. So, for example, with Apple, they clearly made the compromise on design and the display. The display is the same thing that they've used for years now, the design as well, and that's working out for them. That's where they decided to cut their corners. For OnePlus, it was with the cameras, very clearly. Not the front, but the rear cameras. And then with Google, it is, of course, with the build components, such as using completely plastic body and the SoC that they use. So the SoC is a 730 instead of the more powerful 765 on the Nord and the way more powerful A13 on the iPhone SE. However, just because it has a slightly lower SoC, that does not mean the Pixel is playing around. It actually has very respectable specs. And they've got, so of course we've got that plastic build. It's got the 730 Snapdragon. It's got 6 gigs of RAM, which I didn't expect at this price. It's got 128 gigs of storage flat. That's it. You can't get more, you can't get less. I think that's an awesome compromise to make. 128 gig it should be standard at this point. 5.8-inch screen, OLED. It's got 1080p resolution, 60 hertz. Nothing interesting about it, but it is finally a punch hole style with no crazy bezels or anything stupid. Google has finally made a phone that has a somewhat modernized display in terms of the look of the display, not the actual quality of the display. It's got a 3,140 milliamp hour battery. It's got 18-watt wireless fast charging right out of the box. No wireless charging. And, it is definitely a bit smaller compared to the OnePlus Nord's battery, but definitely going to be better than the iPhone SE. You've got stereo speakers. You've got one rear camera and one front camera, and that's it. You're not getting 15 cameras on the phone that are all useless. You're going to get one camera, both front and back, that are exceptional. And I keep saying this is the approach people should take. Now, I think that overall this is a great compromise, and this is a really aggressive price point to be at. You know, the Pixel is severely undercutting both the OnePlus Nord and the iPhone SE by at least $100 when you match them up at 128 GB storage variants. So this is going to be an interesting fight, right? I am so excited about this. This is why I'm making this video. I am very excited about the future of these $300 to $400 phones, because they feel way more interesting right now than the flagship phones, where everything is more or less the same with very incremental updates. This space is hot because you got technologies that are being used, that are being trickled down, and it's just fantastic to watch this market because it's so much more fierce, so much more innovative, and you guys, it's so fun to see where corners are being cut, which phone provides which. It's just, I am absolutely enamored by this, and this is actually the first time I think this entire year where I am genuinely looking forward to getting these new phones in my hand, comparing them, making videos. This has just been a very boring couple of months with smartphones, in my opinion, but these phones are exciting me. And I think that people have been, rightfully critical of Google recently, but we all forget that Google is actually really good with mid-range phones. Going back all the way to their Nexus line, they've done a fantastic job with mid-range phones in the past, and people loved them, right? The 3A was, at least according to tech reviewers, very well loved. I didn't really see any out in public, but for it got a lot of love, and the phone itself, I think, was a great compromise. Now, this new one is undercutting that as well. It's undercutting its competition, and I think it's got the right compromises nailed. Now, the only thing we'll see is how it lasts, how the performance is, and if it's going to be something that is going to be usable long term compared to something like the iPhone, which will definitely last the test of time. So just as I'm saying, there's so many fun factors to consider here, and I will be making a lot more videos on this topic. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to be trying to get my hands on these phones as quickly as possible, but release dates are just crazy. I have no idea what's going on. Google is not forthcoming with when exactly it's going to come out. It's just crazy right now. I'm going to try to get my hands on the Nord. The iPhone SE I'm trying as well. I'm in India right now, and the prices are crazy, so I've been a little hesitant, but I might just end up coughing up the money on that as well. But the Pixel 4a is something that I'm very much excited about, and I will be getting that as soon as I can, whenever it comes out. I don't care what price it is. I just want to see what I can get to do. So look forward to that. And let me know what you guys think about the Pixel 4a down in the comments below. I think it's a fantastic compromise that they made. I want to know what your thoughts are. Should they have skimped somewhere else, or should they have added something that you think is missing? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. And if you haven't already, follow me on social media. I'll have all the links right down here. I'll keep you guys up to date on when I'm going to get these phones or what's happening. All those updates and behind the scenes are going to be over on either my Twitter or Instagram. So be sure to check it out. As I said, links right here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have an excellent day. I'll catch you in the next one.